Every time someone's like, how come you guys don't buy better equipment? I'm like, because I'm too busy giving away fucking free helmets, asshole.
Welcome to BrotoGP. This is episode number 65. We are coming at you after the Sachsenring MotoGP round, and we're sorry this is a little bit late, but we had some crazy shit going on, like, you know, America's Independence Holiday and fireworks and crazy awful.
Fucking freedom, bitches.
Yeah,
the original Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. Who is that I hear? Who is that I hear on the phone?
All right, well,
Hey.
You obviously already got Kevin on the phone, but Everett's being a little bitch with going on vacations and not being able to record because he's married. But so we have a special guest this time. And on the phone with us is Knock from the Motorcycles and Misfits Podcast. Did I say that right?
Hey.
My ninja.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on your show. Appreciate it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I just show up to these things and hopefully cool stuff happens, so I'm cool with that.
No doubt. If anyone's wondering who the Motorcycles and Misfits are, they've had me on their show a couple of times, actually. Super cool group of people down in Santa Cruz who record, despite the fact it's in a dilapidated garage, it's still infinitely better than our recording situation. So,
Yeah, Knox says that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's recorded way more podcasts than we have. What number are you on? Like 200 and something?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing in terms of what we're going to talk about for the most part. This will be fun for me, is what I'm saying.
So he knows just as much as Everett.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Moran.
And Knock definitely rides more motorcycles than Kev, so it's okay.
No doubt. And the Motorcycles and the Misfits podcast has way more dildos.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of dildos and dildo talk. It's just hilarious.
I was not expecting that at all. I think one of your other hosts on the Misfits podcast is actually going to be at Laguna Seca with us this weekend on Sunday, helping out. But
sounds about right.
Yeah, I know there'll be something. But all right, let's get to some other stuff first. Speaking of Laguna Seca, and speaking of some awesome stuff going on, Riders Law is throwing down at Laguna Seca. They are the presenting sponsor for the KTM RC Cup this weekend at the World Superbike / Moto America race event. So you will see Riders Law banners like plastered everywhere throughout the track, which will be pretty awesome. Yeah. And of course, they're my title sponsor. They're sponsoring John Knowles. They're sponsoring Jason Aguilar, who is leading the Superstock 600 championship right now. And they've got a little bit of sponsorship going for Josh Herron and Bryce Prince too on Mean Motorsports. So,
which begs the question: with Cy just throwing money around and making it rain, where's my Zuma? Where's that Zuma at?
I knew where that was going. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he probably technically his money went to buy this awesome poster that I just got printed.
Right.
How about they get you an Evel Knievel suit? Would that kind of?
If an Evel Knievel suit accompanies a Zuma, I will wear it because I'm limping about as strong as Evel Knievel right now. I trained some jiu-jitsu in Iceland and tweaked my left knee up pretty good, so I'm working a solid pimp walk, Snoop Dogg style. And if you catch us, because we'll all be at Laguna, I'm the dastardly handsome, slightly better looking version of George Clooney with the limp.
Oh, we're going with slightly better looking now.
Slightly better looking George Clooney.
So we should just look for the drag marks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Riders Law, of course, they're your California motorcycle accident injury lawyers. If actually they can help you out throughout the country as well. So if you ever need any legal help, please give them a call. Check out their website at riderslaw.com. That's Riderslaw with a Z, and they will take care of you just like they're taking care of us, and they're taking care of motorcycle racing throughout the United States. All right. Should we get into it? We actually want to talk about a race now.
Sure.
Right.
Let's do it.
I want to make a proclamation really quick. There will be no Lord of the Rings references. I fucking swear to God. It's like they all had it set up. Fucking 30 seconds after he won, all you saw was every British journalist with Lord of the Ring. Like, bro, you've been using the same tagline for 8 years. We get it. He's good there, and there was a movie that had a ring in the name. I mean, Jesus fuck already.
Yeah, we have another ring racetrack now, the Red Bull Ring.
Fuck yeah, the Red Bull Ring, dog.
They gotta stop. But
you gotta stop.
The twin ring.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, we got 3 rings now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's some old ass British shit that they're saying, like the ring thing, huh?
Yeah,
yeah.
This is perfect. Knock is already talking shit about the British journalists. I love it.
Exactly.
All right, so a race did happen. We actually have a new title leader after the Sachsenring again, right? That's the third race in a row that this has happened. So Marc Marquez won in actually it wasn't a dominating, convincing fashion like his other previous results, but he has now gotten pole position and won there 8 years in a row across 3 different
spanning multiple classes.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But so the thing for Marquez that I really want to talk about is Honda improving? Are they actually finally getting a handle on their new motor and the software, or is this just Marquez at Sachsenring?
So don't they always, though, in terms of improving? I mean, that's just kind of like the running theme of the evil empire, right? They just get better towards.
Yeah, they sort of find their stride. I mean, you saw Danny won previously, and he got third at this race, and Marquez won again. This, like Rob said earlier, this was not sort of the convincing win. Folger on a year-old satellite bike was definitely able to hound him the entire race, but. I don't know, are they doing better? Again, he won at the Circuit of Americas, his, lockdown, shoe-in track, and then he won at Sachsenring, the track that he's a shoe-in with. I'll start believing that they've really caught back on top when Cal starts podiuming again like he did last year, and Marquez wins at a track that isn't a complete lock for him. I mean, you can just pencil those in, you know what I mean? You pencil that in as much as you pencil Red Bull Ring for Ducati. You're penciling Marquez in for these 2 races.
That is a good point to bring up, Cal, because the Hondas, aside from the 2 factory Hondas, the satellite Hondas really did not do so well at this track.
No, I mean, Miller, who was expecting, a pretty solid ride, ended up finishing like 15th, barely in the points, and Cal is definitely not the level of competitiveness this year that he was last year. At least it doesn't seem so. Yeah. So I'm not so sure Honda is improving as much as Yamaha had wet practices and lack of setup, and Marquez, you see that Marquez won because that's his track. There was lack of dry setup time for everyone, and then everyone expected it to rain like crazy on Sunday, and then it didn't. It was dry. That's going to be his win because he has the base setup that no one else has just because it's his track. So, you saw what happened with the Yamahas as soon as they got the dry track time. They looked pretty good, all things considering, where they started, and their lap times were solid. Are they really getting it back? Yeah, they won, but who had the fastest lap of the race? It was Jonas Folger on an old Yamaha.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, Marquez for me, you even said the word base setup. Like, there's no way that his base setup from last year even worked perfectly here. To me, it's just his talent overcoming that. They've changed the motor. They've gone through. He may or may not be on a chassis that's not from 2014 because he still hasn't found a new one that he likes. But they put on a new swing arm, right? They've done gas tanks. But then the new motor, right, requires a different electronic setup. So it's not like the stuff that worked last year is necessarily going to work here, and that's been their problem. But then Marquez just shows up at a track that he is good at and just puts it in the front.
Put it in the front. That's what I like to do. Yeah.
So we'll probably get back to Honda a little bit later too when we start talking about Yamaha, but let's bring up what you actually think about the title right now. So Marquez is 5 points ahead of Vinales and 6 ahead of Dovi and only 10 ahead of Rossi. The top 4 are still quite close, and I guess I shouldn't leave out Danny Pedrosa because he's only he's 26 back. So he's not even.
And he's one of the race winners. You know what I mean? He is one of the guys who's won a race and, gotten some podiums.
Yeah, he has as many race wins as Rossi, who's just ahead of him. So what's going on here with the title? Do you think Marquez is actually going to be able to hold this down? Is he actually leading the title right now?
No. That is fake news. Fake news all around. That is # fraud Marquez. So
Fraud Marquez.
Fraud Marquez. I mean, his brother basically lives the Fraud Marquez lifestyle. But, yeah. But, yes, he's technically leading the title, but he's leading the title with the lowest points in the four-stroke era and the lowest points since Kenny Roberts Jr. won the title, right? 8 races in. He's got 2 DNFs already, and no one has gone on to win the championship with 2 DNFs the first 8 races since Mick Duhan in, 95, bro, or 97. It's been solid 20 years since someone has crashed out of twice in the first 8 races and gone on to win the title. This is a crazy year. You just said it. 3 championship leaders in 3 races. We're suddenly talking about, is Yamaha, lost their way because they did horrible 1 race. We're suddenly talking about is Honda back because they won 1 race. There's only one guy who's not crashing out when shit goes bad, and that's Dovizioso. Matt Marquez has the same amount of wins as Dovizioso. The actual leader for this race is Dovi. The only times he might not be leading the championship, and no one has actually gone on to win while not leading after the halfway since Lorenzo did it to Rossi, but still, that's earlier and more common than winning the title while crashing out of 2 races early on. On Mark's bad day, on Maverick's bad day, and on Valentino's bad day, they crash out. But what does Dovi do on his bad day? Get 8th, get 9th, right? He doesn't crash out. You look at the next 8 races from last year, he came on, had a grip of podiums, never DNF'd, and won a race. And we know that the bike is better this year by a significant margin than it was last year. Not so much with the Honda that I'm thinking. It doesn't look nearly as good. The satellite riders aren't as good. They've actually made their satellite riders start testing during the race weekend, which is sweet for Cal.
Yeah, it's worked out well.
Yeah. For me, the actual championship leader, the title favorite, is Dovi. He was just leading. The only reason he's not leading is because a little bit of a lack of setup time. But again, Dovi won at tracks no one thought he would win at. But you got to think he's the favorite for Red Bull Ring. You got to think he's at least in the hunt at Sepang. The guy, you might pencil in 2 more wins for Dovi, and this season, 4 wins, 2006 style, might get you the championship. Consistency rules this year.
I don't know if I'm completely sold. Dovi does classically do better during the second half of the season, but Ducati necessarily doesn't. Dovi bins it early in the first half, and then he generally doesn't crash later on, but he never puts together that solid point total that's really necessary for that title run towards the end.
Yeah, but can you apply that logic too when you're talking about, Denny Pedrosa, the guy who just is always the bridesmaid and never the bride? I mean, he's consistent, quote unquote, but he's, I mean, I'm looking at the track. I'm looking at the next GP track in Czech Republic, and I'm trying to figure out if Marquez is actually good at that track. I don't know. What's the stats on that?
I mean, podium last year, the podium the year before. So Brno is classically a Yamaha track because of all the sweeping corners, and Rossi's new old chassis may aid that considerably. But I don't even know when the last time a Honda won. And Ducati, they haven't done well there ever.
Right, but what we're talking about here is we kind of got to pencil at this point that the certain riders who are good at certain tracks, we saw Jorge with Barcelona, right? He always goes well there, so he's able to have his best result when normally he's horrible in qualifying 21st, right? And that happened. He qualified 21st. You saw Rossi win at Assen. Of course he did. And you saw Yamaha with Maverick be really competitive and winning early in the season, just like they normally do. So they're getting good competitive results at the tracks they're supposed to, but they're sucking ass at the other tracks that they're not supposed to. The only guy who's not doing horrible at his bogey tracks is Dovi. He's winning when you never thought he would win. We haven't even got to the Ducati strong tracks yet, really, and suddenly he already has 2 wins, and he's right there in the hunt. I just simply think that when unpredictability reigns, fucking Dovey is your guy.
I do love that the variability is just pissing off all the ex-aliens. And I say ex.
I like that segue, Rob. I like that segue.
That is very keen, sir.
I say ex-aliens because Dovey having 2 wins this year has completely destroyed the term, and it's not applicable anymore because the aliens are called the aliens because they won everything. And now they're
not just won everything, but podiumed everything. You couldn't even podium in that era. You know, in 2008, 2009, only 4 dudes even podiumed. It wasn't even just the wins. It was like there was no, but now we see satellite bikes podium. Last year we saw Cal. I mean, the term aliens disappeared when Cal and Jack Miller won races in the same season. I'm just saying.
That's oh god. I still can't hear someone or think about that with a straight face. Like or talk about it. It's just Cal winning. Oh god.
But I think your point, Rob, is pretty big, and you're starting to see the cracks in guys that you didn't normally see it, like you saw with Danny, and you can go to that. But I think this variability and the results aren't a given for these guys anymore. Like we said, on their bad days, they crash out. They get 10th. They qualify horribly. They have to come through the pack. It's not like it was just a few years ago. And you see guys like Danny, getting pretty fucking mad, and for in terms of Danny saying some salty shit about Carroll, and you see Viñales saying something like, leading the championship is harder than I thought. Leading the championship is harder than you thought. Being the best in the world at something was harder than you thought. Come on, bro.
It's not what I expect from these guys because, like you were saying, the past couple years in the alien era, they were so stone cold, just podium every single round. And now we have them getting 10th on a consistent basis or crashing out. It's just insane. And it goes back to your point, too, about how they're only doing good at the tracks they're good at. Like, I wonder what is causing it because it's still the same bike. They're getting different tires, but it's just something is making them suck so hard when everything doesn't go perfect.
Right. Who'd have thought racing motorcycles was so hard?
you twist and go, and you point it this way, and you point it that way.
Yeah, exactly. You brake later and gas earlier. What the fuck is the problem?
Oh, so that's what I'm not doing.
Yeah, right.
God damn it. Here I am analyzing lap times and thinking about sectors and oh man, I'm doing it all wrong. Just
one of the things that you read, like Jack Miller, and I don't know, Jack Miller kind of is what it is, but you see his complaint that he expected to do better, but the rear tire just didn't behave in the way he thought. I don't know if there's some talk about whether Michelin has quality control issues or the variability in the performance of the tires is bigger and these guys are on the razor's edge. But like the thing that's crazy is everyone is sort of like reverting to the old shit. Like you see, like the Yamaha in the 2016 are doing well. We're sort of joking that Marquez is still on his 2014 chassis and that Rossi just desperate to get the old frame back. Like nothing any manufacturer is doing except Ducati is making their bike better.
I mean, Ducati.
And that goes back in.
They've had a lot of practice, right? They've been very, very, very slowly making this bike better over the years, and it's taken significant effort in the factory and the race team with test riders, with a new eyebrows head honcho. It's taken a lot of work for them to get good at it. So maybe that's what is really aiding them is they've got the process down perfect so that they don't go backwards. They don't make any mistakes. I mean, losing the winglets at the beginning of the year was tough for them, but they've somehow been able to turn around, and then Dovey pulls out these 2 wins. And the variability is definitely increasing his chance of winning because, like he said, they were weird wins, like people not pushing at all and just some crazy stuff happening. But you're right, like everyone else is faltering, and a lot of people are writing on the internet now.
Yeah, Dovey's like Dovey's like basically Trump. He won without trying. You know what I mean? Like he was like surprised that he won. He didn't even really know. I won. I wasn't even trying. What's going on here? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But Dovey is the only one who doesn't expect to be at the front. If you understand what I'm saying, like sometimes I think that these guys they run into problems and they're scrambling because they're so surprised they're not competitive. Dovey's the only one that doesn't expect to be there and spent the last 6 years fucking nose to the grindstone crawling his way out of that hole. You know what I mean? The rest of the guys are like, dig up, stupid.
Maybe it's a conspiracy. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I definitely think that, yeah.
An Everett spot now, huh? That's what's going on?
I'm trying to feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, and to your point, Kev, the other two riders that have done pretty damn well this season that don't expect to be up there are Folger and Zarco.
Right.
Yeah,
the guys.
The whole Zarco thing, you know.
Well,
Oh, shit. Are you throwing shade on the fucking Zarco hype train?
A little bit, maybe. It's such a disparity in wins or in placing between those two races. I was like, kind of fluky. Seems kind of fluky. I mean, not to discredit his effort and his work that he put in and all that shit, but it's like, it seems kind of fluky.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely when you look at Zarco's vaunted home podium, you got second place. Everyone was fucking jizzing in their pants, right? But like 9 people crashed out of that race. It was only 15 finishers, right? And some big name dudes crashed out of that one. But you look at Folger at his home race, and you see that he not only beat Pedrosa at a classically Honda track where Pedrosa has done very well. He took it to Marquez, was riding his ass off, and there wasn't a lot of crashers. He legitimately beat, standing up in a non-fluky race, a lot of top guys. I was much more impressed by Folger's home, sort of hometown hero story than I was Zarco's. It's almost like Zarco's blunted it a little bit, but his is actually more impressive when you look at it.
I'm sitting over here like tapping my fingers together going, excellent. Let the hate flow through you.
Right.
Get off the Zarco hype train. Get off it. It was amazing, but it wasn't anything that special. I mean, it goes back to the variability again too, right? Like he got a string of really solid results, a bunch of top 5s, and then Zarco does 14th and 9th. In these last 2 rounds, and Folger I would say that he's been improving a little bit more, except for the crash that he finally had in the Netherlands. But he put, like you were saying, he put this race together, and it was very solid from the first lap all the way to the end. I mean, he made a slight mistake towards the end trying to catch Marquez and roasted the tire, but he already had second place locked in there. That was his final push to attempt the win. And it didn't happen. And it was a great race. He didn't pull a Cal and crash on like the last lap in one of the corners and bin it. He brought it home in second place.
Right, and what you saw too was kind of goes back to the thing you were talking about, the unpredictability, kind of annoying the aliens and all that. Is that even Danny said, "Oh, what's he doing up here? What's the vaunted rookie on the good satellite ride doing up here fighting for podiums? What are you talking about?" Like, it's almost like he just thought second place, his podium was a given, and then he was surprised when the young hometown hero on a good bike was competitive. And, almost like that threw him for a loop a little bit too. But I think the same thing is that this one his performance was more impressive because he did it at a track that was classically Honda, and he was competitive the entire way. He led the race for a while. He just like everyone was freaking that Zarco led a race. Well, so did Folger, and Folger brought it home in, basically in someone else's end zone. You know what I mean? Like in someone else's backyard, he was able to do it.
Yeah, towards the end of that race, I started thinking about how his equipment actually started failing him. Overcooking those turns. I mean, like hypothetical being what it is. What if he had better equipment? Would he have, at least won or been more of a better victory? I guess closer to Marquez at the finish line.
Well,
I don't know.
I think him overcooking into the first corner a bunch of times, that was just rider error. Like he was just trying to push to gain time, and you don't gain time on the Honda on corner entry unless you're,
right. Marquez is not the guy to gain time on the brakes.
Yeah, like unless you're Rossi or Dovey. Like they
Right.
might be able to, but definitely not Folger. Like as far as rear tire wear issues, which he definitely got towards the end of the season, that was one thing that the new Yamaha chassis, the 2017, was supposed to improve, was rear tire life. So maybe it would be a little bit better. But I'm looking back at the results right now, and M1 has not podiumed in Sachsenring in the Michelin era. That's the first one, and it came from
Oh wow.
Folger. Yeah, so the in 2016 it was Marquez, Crutchlow, and Dovey, and then in 2015 it was Marquez. Oh no, I'm sorry, Rossi got third in 2015 and Sachsenring.
Dang.
Ah, there it was. But still,
Yeah, you got a sample of 2 though. You know, I mean, come on.
yeah. Well, I mean, even moving back these years, like it's still this is like Kevin said, this is classically a Honda track, and they do really well there. And then other people pick up the pieces. This time, Folger on a year-old motorcycle actually took the fight to Marquez and surprised Danny Pedrosa and beat him. But so hey, let's transition to the new factory Yamaha though. There's one thing that I want to
I'm
talk
just kind of bummed that we spent like 10 minutes talking about Tech 3 and not one booger eating comment.
about.
That guy's fully aware of what the fuck's going on right now, so he's like, I better stick my hand
But
up.
no, for reals, right, Knock? Like you saw on that broadcast, they would pull up to Herv, and his nose wasn't anywhere near, his finger wasn't anywhere near his nose these days, man. He's like resting his head on his chin like he's fucking Rhode Island Stinker. He's not doing that anywhere anymore. Before, it was always right there, like maybe he's picking his teeth, maybe he's digging for gold, but he knows. He knows we're onto him, because he's got his rider in second place, maybe fighting for the fucking first win that team ever had, and all he's thinking is, if fucking Kevin sees me pick a boog right now, this shit's going viral.
He probably got a publicist. It's like, yeah, you can't fucking pick your shit on live TV, dude.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was 3 years of Pole and Bradley where he had plenty of time to pick his nose and no one to see it. And now
Right.
now he's got Zarco and Folger, and he's got to change it up just a little bit. He's on TV a whole lot more often, and I'm sure DeWalt or Stanley is way stoked about it.
Oh my god, how shitty do Pole and Bradley look right now? For reals.
I mean, they beat Jack Miller in this last race, but no, they look pretty bad. They look pretty bad.
Yeah.
Do we actually want to? We don't want to talk about that. We've covered that a million times.
Right.
So let's move on to Rossi's new frame, and the rumor that his new frame is actually kind of a mix between the 2015 and 2016 frame, or at least more 2016 than his 2017 frame.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Oh, this one.
I'll be honest, I'm still knee deep in booger thoughts.
I mean,
thoughts.
This goes back to you thinking too, Kev, or bringing up that the factories are reverting to ideas to kind of improve their consistency and reduce the variability. Like Yamaha tried something with the new frame.
I definitely said that.
You did. Yamaha tried something with the 2017 frame. They got Casey Stonard into thinking that it was awesome with Maverick Vinales. And then Rossi turns around and says, no, we need to fix the turning. We need to fix the front end feel. Give me something else. And the rumor is that it's transitioning back to the frame that is obviously working, right? Because Folger and Zarco are doing quite well for being on a satellite team and being so inexperienced. And they've beaten the factory boys more than once.
So they've achieved like basically perfect frame. Peak frame excellence back in 2016. You're thinking.
Oh shit, peak frame! Wow, original idea. We would achieve peak frame.
I do wonder. I really wonder if we.
Everett, you just lost your job, bro. Just lost your job. Knack just rolls in and he's just like literally has no idea what we're talking about. He's drinking beer in fucking Santa Cruz and he's like, David Cheat, peak frame perfection. It's all downhill from here.
I mean, we could argue that HRC achieved peak frame 2 years ago with Mark Marquez in that old 2015 frame. It's
right.
kind of I mean, Michelin is fucking us, right? They're actually making the racing really good, but they're just screwing up the development process because the factories aren't pushing for that crazy front tire. They're not pushing with tires with a rear tire that just somehow is able to post lap records towards the end of the race. Right? Michelin is bringing different tires. They wear out. They're asymmetric at some tracks on the left, not at others. And I think it's really affecting the development process such that peak frame is really just the frame that works, the frame that we know works and has a good base setup.
Right, a good, reliable. I mean, just like why I think Dobie's going to win, because he's fucking good and reliable. You know what you're going to get from him, but that, you know, what you're seeing is in variable conditions, what happened with Valentino got, started. He qualified horribly, the wet conditions, wet, dry, wet, you're not sure. But then in the race, when it's dry on the new old chassis, he still fucking runs it back to a top 5. Maverick does the same thing because they have the data, they have the setup, they know what's going on. They're, you know what I mean? Like, the other thing I think we want to talk about that doesn't come too much is we're sort of in this weird thing where lots of tracks have been resurfaced or need to be resurfaced. We're we're in peak frame, we're in lowest quality track surface you're going to find. Like, there's so much unpredictability because so many of these tracks who jumped on the MotoGP bandwagon need resurfacing or needed it and got it done. And Michelin comes in right when all this is happening. I mean, they brought extra tires to this track because no one really knew, and testing limits mean these people aren't testing at a lot of tracks.
It was actually,
and it's kind of a big gamble.
Sachsenring actually has a sound limit or something that prevents them from running GP bikes there.
Damn, motherfucking Laguna bitch status.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's the same stuff. Everyone else is doing it too. But I do like how Michelin touted that that their tires all worked, which is great, but that they beat the previous lap record and that they beat the previous race duration time, like the race time. Yeah, it's a new freaking surface. It was extra grippy and the tires didn't melt off. You better be going faster.
Right, it's like, dude, it's like that old, what was that joke Nagel talking about? Like, when you talking about, like, I take care of my kids. Bitch, you're supposed to. It's 2017. You're bragging that your tires worked and didn't explode and send Scott Redding flying down the fucking tarmac, and you're bragging that you went faster than last year? I fucking hope so. I got a job. Well, you're supposed to have a job. Like,
Wait, I'm supposed to have a job?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
Right.
Fun employment, man. Fun employment. Race motorcycles.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. I mean, the track dependency throughout this year and the dependency on the tires is doing a great job of making all this racing entertaining, and it's doing a great job of making this title a shit show, which is also entertaining. I will never complain about that. It's just so difficult to analyze it, and I guess that gives us a job, right? Like, we sit here and talk shit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, the best part is like, if you're a podcast whose main thing is you got to talk shit about people, a series of shitty tires making people have shitty races is fucking great. Because what would we have done in like 2008? We'd have been like, hey, Casey Stoner's pretty fast, Valentino's pretty fast, and like they both got podiums again. I wonder who's gonna win. Now it's like, I wonder which guy's going to fucking crack under the pressure. Like, Danny's talking shit about Carroll. Why is he talking shit about Carroll? Carroll Abraham is not a fucking rival. I mean, I love the bro. He's cool as fuck. He got robbed live on our station for Snicker bars. But, like, that happened. But he's not like, Carroll, Danny, you got bigger fish to fry. You know what I'm saying? Jack Miller is having full-on freakouts on Instagram and literally claiming he's going to fight dudes. Maverick is like making the claim that winning the championship was supposed to be easier. Like, these guys are all cracking at the seams because nothing is going the way they expect it to go anymore. So it's fucking great.
It's a bunch of fucking kids, that's why.
Well, we all gotta have type A personalities to get around the racetrack fast. That's like a law or a rule, right?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is in a weird way, these are the cockiest, like, most machismo, competitive guys you've ever seen, but that's always rooted in insane insecurity. Like, no one gets to the level these guys are getting to be this fast if they were insanely insecure about every result they ever had. coming through. So the sound you're hearing is not my girlfriend coming to take a piss like she did the other podcast, but pour me some wine. That's good. Yeah.
There are websites for that. That's awesome.
But, these guys are all seriously insecure dudes. That's what drives you to be this competitive and constantly prove yourself this much. Like Everett has said a million times, why is Valentino even doing this? He's like a fucking millionaire. He has more money than MotoGP itself does, and he is the company that sells every other rider's merchandise. He could roll off and fuck umbrella girls left and right, Yannone style, for the rest of his life, but he's still out there killing himself to try and win races once a year.
That's quite an existential question there, Kev.
Well, yes, they call me Camus in certain circles.
Well, so okay. So what do you think about then Mav's seemingly like implosion here over this Marquez incident and over all this frame nonsense, right? Like Maverick is so insecure about giving anyone any advantage that he won't tell us whether or not he raced on the new Yamaha frame or the old one.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Well, and then the Marquez incident, right? Like they both just dove under each other and just pushed each other out of the way, and it seemed like a racing deal. But then, of course, they had to flip each other off and have a long talk, and the announcers made a shit ton of thing about it. Like it doesn't seem like title challengers sort of actions.
I think it's just like an isolated incident, and they're like, it happened, whatever. Where everybody's under pressure to perform. I think they're making a bigger deal than it actually is,
Yeah, it could be. It was definitely an awkward thing. It was sort of like, the fucking you and the guy cuts you off while you're driving, and then you flip him off. He flips you off. Fuck you. Pull over. Not fuck you. Not fuck you. Not fuck you. And then you pull up to the same stoplight next to each other, and no one wants to be the guy who looks over first because that whole incident happened, and at the end of the session, they both started next to each other. You know what I mean? Like they were both the shithead soccer moms who were mad about something, but the moment the actual reality was going to happen, no one did shit. Like, if one of these guys was actually the alpha, like fucking Rob was saying, he would have leaned over and hit the kill switch. Now, fuck you!
That is actually a perfect analogy. It's like, well, fuck, I'm here now. Let's just share our feelings about this incident. That's the natural conclusion to that, I think.
Oh man, I think the kill switch is probably the only thing that you can still do by the rules and not get penalized. Because even when Danny Pedrosa was flipping off Carol Abraham, he gave him the peace sign and pointed to the middle finger just so that the cameras wouldn't catch it. Yeah, no, it was.
That's the least gangster thing I ever heard.
But that's what Dorna made those rules this past off season that anything like detrimental to the sport you could be penalized for, right? You're not even allowed to do crazy hand gestures anymore.
How is that detrimental to the sport? It's like fighting in hockey.
Because they don't understand why Kev watches pro wrestling.
No doubt.
That's it.
No, yeah, Knack is totally right. Like, how is heated rivalries and passions and sparks flying bad for the sport? It's bad for the sport because they really want that Qatar Federation money. You know what I mean? Like, they really want that money from the fucking king of Spain. Like, how could that possibly be bad for the sport? Like, Maverick and Marquez fucking hating each other's guts, what is good for the sport. Like Larry Bird and Michael Jordan fucking hating each other was great for basketball. Like, what's not good for basketball? All the shitheads who now want to be on the same team and trying to rattle off championships. And it's the same thing with GP. Like, we should be fostering the hate. Like, we should be fucking pushing these guys so hard they have emotional damage with each other. You know what I mean? Like, hate each other for my entertainment.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't?
I mean, look, I remember.
No, go ahead. No.
I remember the emotional turmoil when when the fucking Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the fucking Giant.
Damn, that's the second Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre you mentioned today. I love it.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Right. Right, but no one would have been sweet. No one would have been cool if Bobby the Brain Heenan was fucking nice to Hogan. No, he had to come out with Andre and talk mad shit. You gotta rile your people up. You gotta force them into mistakes. And in the fucking year where everyone's making mistakes, you gotta, to jump on that train, push them even farther. I mean, Maverick is basically went from Stone Cold Assassin to like whiny little bitch in the span of a couple bad races. The dude's got the most races, and he's second in the championship, and like he's acting like he's suddenly completely out of it.
I mean, he did give up a 27 or something point lead. So whatever tactics everyone else is using are completely working on him.
Right.
And it's all just
no doubt.
It's all just implosion for Vinales at this point. I do wonder if he can turn it around. Like, we have the summer break coming up. There's a hard reset here. They'll definitely Maverick and Rossi will both have two of their frames of choice instead of one of each moving forward. So there's still chance for him, and I just hope that. Well, one thing that we've been lacking this whole season is the Vinales Marquez battle. That we still have not seen it.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and and that's the thing that we're hoping for, because the first time we saw any like sort of preview or inkling or like, red band trailer of it was them smash into each other and then freaking out like bitches.
That's the trailer for the movie, right? That's just the trailer.
That's the trailer. That's what I'm saying. That's the trailer, and now our appetites are whetted, and we're fucking hoping that this is, Avengers and not Avengers Age of Ultron. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I do hope that the actual battle is way better than the trailer.
It's like Welcome to GP, motherfucker. This is how it goes,
Yeah.
Right, yeah, like up at the front, the Umbrella Girls are hotter, but the fucking pressure's hotter too. You know what I mean? Like, nut up or shut up. I mean, I say that as a guy who literally has never professionally raced motorcycles in my life, but, take my advice, Never.
All right. Let's move on to some more crazy rumors, and I guess it's not crazy rumors, but let's talk about silly season. So some shit finally went down. So first piece of the pie was Franco signing to GP.
Right. I mean, surprise, motherfuckers. This silly season's actually crazy. Like, no one thought this one was going to be nuts, but all of a sudden you're seeing all kinds of action and movement, like potential divorces and drama, and it's pretty wild.
I love how Yonone's almost getting divorced from Suzuki. It's just there's so much angst there with Skank Hunt that he might just bounce.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm fully on board with Skank Hunt 29 and the sweaty nightclub lifestyle, but maybe a little too much. Just like dial it back a little. You know what I mean? Like,
that shit fucks up your legs, dude. You gotta dial it back a little bit.
But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Who wouldn't want his supermodel girlfriend in the box with them? Come on.
Yeah, he's spending too much time in her box, is what I'm saying. Right? And I mean, again, it's 2017. I'm all good, but I'm pretty sure he's spending too much time with his sweaty bro friends in the box too. You know what I'm saying? Like, his Instagram stories it's a straight gay porno. And I mean, it's a classy black and white gay porno, but and don't get me wrong, I like my porn classy, but it's, dial it back just a little bit. Like, you can still trade and fuck and, like, snort coke off hookers' buttholes and stuff, but you gotta dial that back slightly. Because that bike won races and fucking podium last year. Where you at, dog?
So do you think he's actually going to bounce? Do you think he's going to go anywhere now that – well, so the other pieces of the puzzle that are falling in place, right? Franco's signed.
Hold on. First, I want to know what Nack's opinion of snorting coke off hookers' buttholes is.
I'm unfortunate I wasn't there. Is what I'm saying.
You weren't there?
A big case of missing out there. Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
On the coke butt.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hashtag pink frame. Hashtag coke butt.
Hashtag coke butt. I feel like we're trying to talk about Franco, but really you want me to start talking about Miller because he's gone there, especially with the shoey and all that stuff. But all right, Franco signed for Mark VDS, right? I got that one right.
Yes.
Miller got booted from his HRC contract, and he's moving over to Pramac. Redding is getting booted, and we have no idea where he's going, if he's going anywhere in GP. Cal Crutchlow now has the HRC contract. Aprilia courted everyone to ride alongside Aleix, including like Bautista and Petrucci and Franco and God, who else? Like,
yeah, I mean, they basically made the offer to Petrucci, and Petrucci openly admitted they nearly made him an offer he couldn't refuse. They're throwing cash around to get someone on that bike, but it's hard to fucking lure someone like when you're dumping on the current guys so quick and getting them out of contracts. Like, it's not a good look. You can't pick up new girls if they're watching you roofie other ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this is a gangsterous episode. I swear to God.
Oh my
Back
God.
brings it out. But that's what they basically did with Lowe's, and they're trying to say, like, we're going to get rid of this guy out of his 3-year contract early because he sucks 4 races in, so you should join us. We're totally on the up and up. We're legit.
Yeah, that's a really tough position to sell. And yeah, he has a contract for next year, and he's come out openly saying that he has a contract. I mean, I want him gone because his 2 points at the back of the field are not looking solid right now. Like, Michele Pirro has 7 from 1 race finish. Lowe's is not doing so good. I mean, even Rins is making him look foolish, and Rins wasn't even there for all but 3.
Rins broke his motherfucking back.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Knock, have you ever broken your back?
No, I have not.
But you would assume that if you had, it might be hard to ride a motorcycle, right?
It'd probably be hard to do that and jerk off and all kinds of other shit, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Maybe even, yeah, that'd be bad. Yeah, Rins is making Lowe's look foolish. And the Aprilia is better than that. I mean, Espargaro has 32 points. Aleix. He's up there in 14th ahead of a bunch of other riders. He's ahead of Skankunt right now, ahead of Iannone.
You know, I don't want to derail the silly season conversation too much. He might be ahead of Iannone, but in terms of who has the shittiest tattoos between those two, and that's a tight race. Fucking Espargaro got like a break written on his index finger in shitty like little kid riding, and then full gas with an arrow. Like, I'm convinced that his tattoos are so bad, it's an elaborate performance piece trolling all the fans. Like, this is prestige, like the prestige Christopher Nolan, Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale level living your gimmick. His tattoos are so bad, it's got to be like an art performance piece of how obnoxious one can be and still be taken seriously.
You think he's got like a barbed wire kind of thing going somewhere in there too?
I mean, that's the next thing for real. He's going to show up with a tribal tat. He's going to show up with a tribal band that doesn't connect on the inside of the biceps, just like kind of goes to the bicep and around and just below the shirt layer, like 1997 style, and he's just going to own it.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even know. How did you find out all this information? Where did you find like a full body picture of Aleix Espargaro?
You haven't seen, dude, he posted the picture of his own fucking hand. It looks like he wrote it. Literally, if I want a tattoo, I'm strolling over to Nax, we're drinking some beer, he's going to write full gas on my finger with like a big ballpoint pen that's halfway out of ink, and then I'm going to tell the tat guy, yup, and he's going to say, say no more.
Oh, man.
It's like when dudes have their kids' drawings tattooed on them or something, you know?
It's that bad. It's literally that bad.
That's pretty much what it sounds like. Yep.
Right.
All right, I'm bringing this back around. What do you guys think of Miller signing for Pramac?
Go ahead, Mac. You got any ideas?
I told you I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I only saw the MotoGP race.
Here's the thing, like,
that's cool, I guess. I don't know. Fuck.
That's actually what I'm gonna say. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. Fuck. Like, that's literally what that's like. That statement is literally what I say, right? Like, everyone on Reddit and like a lot of people on our Instagram are excited, and I'm like, when was the last time a number 2 guy on the satellite Ducati team did anything of note? When was the last time Ducati gave a fuck about any non-Italian rider? Like, you gues are getting honeypotted like fucking crazy right now.
This episode didn't have enough honeypotting in it, but I'm glad you got it in there.
Right, honey dipped for days, dude.
No, I mean, I actually think it's a wasted signing for Ducati. I think he's a holdover he's a holdover racer to have. Maybe he's got a 1-year deal, maybe he's got a 2-year deal. I'm not entirely sure, but they're waiting for someone better to come into that team. Because he's this number 2 rider. He's not Italian. He's not going to. He may do better than he has on the Honda, but it's not going to be Petrucci level, and it's not going to be factory level worthwhile. He's there for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he's there because of the weird, like, once you're in GP, it's really hard to leave. See Bradley Smith, see, like, so many riders who've just sort of hung on because they're there. You know what I mean? Like, I like Miller. He's cool. He went ape shit and was calling dudes cunts and saying he was going to fuck their moms and shit. So that's cool and all. But, I mean, Scott Redding did randomly post pictures of badges in his stories on Instagram, and no one ever talked about that. Like, that didn't happen. But that happened. His stories were just fucking badges and fucking lady tacos for days, and no one said anything. No one said shit.
I didn't even know this.
He's basically a data mine for Ducati, but he's got character, so he's kind of cool. Like, we'll keep it fun because he's got character.
Yeah, but
I think Knack is totally right there. He's a guy who's going to circulate around, get them information, get them data. He's entertaining. He does interviews. Anglo guys like him, and he's going to get Pramac and Octo Pramac sponsor, looks. And he's going to get, tons of special treatment at the Phillip Island round. But, like,
no,
I don't know why why does everyone think that the number 2 bike at Pramac is any better than a number 2 Honda?
Wait, why do we think that Ducati thinks they need a Cal Crutchlow? Because
they had one and got rid of him, so.
Yeah, they had him. It didn't work out. Like, they're making the same mistake here. Like, even saying Miller's the data mine, right? That means he's going to be testing things during race weekends, and maybe he'll tell them some Honda secrets. Not that Mark VDS knows any, because they're not factory Honda. His results don't tell me that he can develop a bike. His lack of experience in the meat grinder class tells me that he's going to cave under the pressure. Right? Like, when things go wrong for everyone else, they also go wrong for Jack Miller. He's not going to just break through, except for that one win. Damn it.
And when things go wrong for him, he flips out. He threatens dudes on fucking Instagram. He throws Honda under the bus. Like, we know if you ride for Ducati, you just get shit weekends, right? Like, They don't know what they're smoking on the toilet. They're not paying attention to you in the fucking in the garage, and whatever's happening, and they're not. And it's going to go bad, and he's going to freak because the dude got a bunch of special treatment early on for perceived potential, and it's like raising your kid and never disciplining them. Sometimes you got to send them to fucking Moto 2 and spank them a little.
Moto 2 is the military school of regular life.
Yeah, for real.
Actually, here's why the having a Cal Crutchlow at Ducati will never work. Because the second fucking Miller says anything bad about Ducati, they will shit can him and he will be gone. Right? Yep. Cal somehow has this allotment to say whatever the fuck he wants about Honda and still get the HRC contract. Miller is not going to be allowed to do that. I just don't see it happening. The Italians won't understand it. They'll be insulted, and that'll be it.
Well, aside from the fact that this is, like, serious racing, but it's also, like, showbiz, so there's maybe the factories are taking that into account, too. I don't know.
So they all need one guy.
Yeah, right. Knack's right. Like, they've got Petrucci. He's getting results. He's taking the next step. And Ducati is definitely supporting them more than they used to. They have a factory bike, the newest bike. And what's Miller going to do? Talk a lot of shit, get them some fucking airtime. He's going to get them on interviews. He's going to get that Pramac hat on all his things when he's talking shit. I don't know. This is – everyone likes to act like this is a sport, but it's not. Knack, you back me up on this. This is a selling advertising business.
Oh, yeah, man. Win on Sunday, sell on Monday, right?
Right. Exactly. And if you don't have to win on Sunday, even fucking better.
Right.
Man,
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know who was the number 2 rider at Pramac when Yonone was there.
Spees! Ben fucking Spees signed and was the number 2 rider there, and we saw how that worked out.
No, after that.
What? I don't fucking know.
That's the problem. I don't fucking know. Everyone's gonna forget about Miller too.
Right.
It was Yanni. It was Yanni. That's who it was.
Right.
Yanni was there when Yonone was there, and then Yonone left, and
another guy who was shoehorned into Pramac because of a fucking passport. And one of the best races of the year at one of the best tracks on the calendar is in Australia, and they gotta have an Australian rider. And there's not a single one in Moto 2, there's not a single one in Moto 3, and there's none in the pipeline. So dude's gonna be around. But I mean, the real reason he's there is because, you know, he got a win, and so he's going to ride that wave for days.
I hope he didn't get what he was asking for in his contract, because rumor was that that all of his contract talks essentially like halted when they saw the dollar amount that he was asking for. And then once he lost that HRC contract and they gave it to Cal, his bargaining position went away. I hope he's riding for very little again. I mean, that one win, he doesn't deserve it.
I mean, yeah, he got the win, and it was awesome. You know, I wrote a horribly recorded song about it. It was amazing. Right. But he hasn't followed that up. He hasn't built off of that in any way. He hasn't, like, used that as a stepping stone. In fact, I used to say it was the same thing. It was the worst thing that ever happened to him. And money-wise, the same thing. He got a huge win bonus, and now he fucking expects to live that Conor McGregor lifestyle. And that shit just ain't gonna happen. Like, you know, you're in the series because you're Australian, and like 3.5 years ago, Honda thought you might be special, but you've proven to be remarkably average.
Yeah, I think everyone that's watching the races just thinks that if he had a quote unquote better bike, that he would be battling Folger and Zarco for those like top 7 positions. But all his results the previous years, I just don't see it happening.
Right. I want to say something really unpopular right now. I'll probably get hella shit for it. But everyone is doing to Jack Miller right now what they did to Nicky Hayden circa 2008, 9, and 10. They just kept saying, oh, no, fucking HRC fucked him. What if he gets on a good bike? Oh, but then the bike's sucked. Now he's going to go back to the Honda. He's going to be good. Oh, like, no, like, they're projecting their desires for Jack to be good onto it and making up excuses. Like, you know, one guy I was messaging back and forth was like, well, he beat Laverty and Hayden in the production bike. I'm like, motherfucking Laverty. Laverty can't even top 8 in World Superbike right now. And Nicky Hayden was a grown man on a shit bike. He wasn't going to take any risks whatsoever. Like, that's not a win. He was a young, hot-to-trot rookie who's supposed to have alien potential. And I just think that, like, everyone really wants him to do well because he's entertaining and he's an interesting personality and he's a non-Latin writer. So they're projecting what they wish would happen onto him by constantly blaming the bike. Like, look, man, no one ever went to Ducati and it was dope right away.
Except Casey Stoner.
Casey Stoner, but I mean in the post-Stoner era, like the fucking the pathway to hell is paved with dudes who went to Ducati and thought it was going to be fucking sweet.
And Miller's not Ducati. Miller's not Stoner. We know that much for sure.
Right. He's not Spees, he's not Crutchlow, he's not fucking Valentino, and he's not Nicky Hayden.
Nope. He's got nothing on him.
You know, it ain't going to be ballin', dog.
I mean, we'll get to find out next year. He might, I kind of expect him to have slightly better results because Pramac is considerably more experienced than Mark VDS. But at the same time, it's a different bike. Maybe he doesn't know how to use the rear brake a la Jorge Lorenzo. We'll see what happens. But all right, I think we can wrap this one up now. It's been about an hour. Is there, you got any closing thoughts there, Kev? Oh, wait. You tell us about what you're doing at Laguna Seca.
Me? I'm taking over your phone, bitch. I'm stealing it. I'm logging into your Instagram, and I'm posting hella shit, and I'm going to send some saucy shit to fucking Luca. You don't even know.
Oh, God. She's going to be standing there right next to you the whole time.
That's the best part. I'm going to look at her, and it just fucking stone cold. It wasn't me. Shaggy style. It wasn't me.
Oh man, yeah. So we got Laguna Seca coming up this weekend. All the BrotoGP bros are coming out, and I got them crew passes through much difficulty.
Yeah, we'll all be there. We'll be wearing the shirts. Rob has a giant, sort of obnoxiously large sign that says BrotoGP on it.
Oh, it's
we'll be this pits. It's a party up, no doubt. We're going to be there. I'm stealing size American Express Black Card, and we're going to just fucking kegs for days. It's going to be good. So, yeah, it should be a good time. Find us there. Everyone's going to be there. Even fucking Dennis is showing up. Me and Everett going to be drinking for fucking days. Rob is going to race and hopefully not break his collarbone.
Yeah.
And you going, Nak? You going to be there?
No, I got a dog sit in SF, dude.
Wait, what do you do?
You have the dog. You have the dog sit.
I got a dog sit for a couple of lesbians. It's awesome.
Just sweet. You can't bring the dog with you?
Yeah, seriously.
No, it's a big fucking dog.
Are you dog sitting Aaron's dog?
Yeah.
That guy's not that big. He was real friendly. I mean, except not really that friendly, but he was super cute.
What? All right,
Plus,
coming
like,
back.
a whole stash of booze and everything, so you can chill up there.
Oh man. All right, bring it back. Actually,
Hold
not
on, Aaron, if you're listening, I apologize for all the misogyny. I love you, girl.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm you for a couple of lesbians. You know I love you.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, hey Knock, do me a favor. Go ahead, plug your podcast one more time since you were a guest on.
Yeah, our podcast is the Motorcycles and Misfits Podcast, and you can find us at on Facebook at Recycle Garage, and shit, I'm losing it. And find us on motorcyclesandmisfits.com, and that's where you can find all our podcasts.
Dennis,
we're on SoundCloud too, so.
Dennis,
I will obviously tag up. I'll do what Knock couldn't do. He had a little performance anxiety. He had a little bit, but yes, I will. I will post the links to their sites, to the websites on, to their stuff on our Facebook and then our Instagram. They're a cool group of people, no doubt. Their podcast is super fun. I love when they have us on. So, in a not so subtle hint, to have me on again.
No, we're going to try to get you guys back because it is silly season, and we try to get you season to just freak out and talk hella shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm really good at. Yeah. Dennis just sent me a little tagline, Misfits Podcast, where Dennis talked more than he ever has on BrotoGP.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Yeah, Dennis, he still listens to us. He can't join, at least for another couple of months, but he keeps tabs on us, I guess.
One of my favorite parts about sitting in on the Misfits Knock was when y'all were like, okay, we're going to quiz you on MotoGP, and then they asked us a bunch of esoteric-ass 500cc questions from, like, 1984.
Yep.
Fucked him, completely fucked him. All right, guys.
Right, and then they're like, what about Isle of Man? I'm like, that's not MotoGP. And Knock's like, I don't give a fuck.
All right, everyone. No, I'm closing it out. Everyone, come join us at Laguna Seca. Check out the Riders Law booth. Come ask for some free BrotoGP stickers because I am 99% sure that I'll have them there. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we will catch you before the next race because we have something planned for the summer break. Peace.
Lots of something plans.
There it is.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for
thanks for sitting in, bro.
Later.